You know, American voters just played a pretty huge role in what may be the most significant referendum on a sitting political party and presidential administration since Ronald Reagan's landslide re-election. It's that big. You know, sure, Kamala Harris was a big loser this week, but she wasn't the biggest. The news was, with a measly 31% of voters reporting a fair amount of confidence in the media to report the news fully, fairly, and accurately before the presidential election, I'm kind of thinking like whatever credibility they've got left is now really dangling in the balance, and that Americans may be ready to cut the cord once and for all. So I want to ask the panel about this. Ari Hoffman hosts the Ari Hoffman Show on 570 AM, KVI out of Seattle. Jennifer Kelly hosts All American Radio on AM 970 The Answer in New York City and New Jersey, and is the spokeswoman for California's Republican Party. And Chris Arps co-hosts the Tim Jones and Chris Arps Show on News Talk St. Louis 101.9 and 94.1 FM. All right, Chris, this totally took the cake for me. Oprah's fear-mongering in Philadelphia as she campaigned for Kamala Harris. Not only does it scream Democrat desperation, it's a total flat-out lie. Listen.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
Wow.
That's so dark, right? It's totally bogus. What's she so afraid of?
Look, I think Oprah was just mirroring basically what the Democrats' message was and what Kamala Harris' message was, which was fear, fear, fear. We heard nothing about the programs that she wanted to implement. We heard nothing about what future she wanted to have for the United States of America. All that we heard was Donald Trump was a threat to our democracy and fear, fear, fear. And the American people rejected that wholeheartedly on Tuesday night, which they should have.
Is it, you know, I just have to ask you, Chris, real fast. As a black man, does it drive you nutty that you're expected to vote a certain way?
Well, it does. I've had an instance where I've gone to vote during the primary here in Missouri, and my area is pretty Democratic where I live. I walk up to the polling booth, and the polling worker automatically gives me a Democratic ballot. She just assumes that I'm going to vote Democratic. So, no, it's something that I'm used to. But like I said, you look at the vote that happened Tuesday with all the African-American males, especially that came out for Trump. That's exciting. And that's something that I hope that the party builds upon for future elections.
You know, and Ari, Kamala, she brought in what? Beyonce? Not really, but kind of. And Usher, Lizzo, Bruce Springsteen, all of them. You know, when you peel away the inauthenticity of celebrity endorsements, I think the only thing Democrats had going for them at the polls was really their hatred of Donald Trump. I mean, can we move on that that's not enough anymore, Ari?
That was the only message they had. When you asked any Kamala Harris voter why you're voting for Kamala Harris, all they would say is, I hate Donald Trump. I said, okay. So now I started asking the question differently. I said, tell me why you're voting for Kamala Harris without mentioning Donald Trump. And they just can't do it because it's just that Trump derangement syndrome. Look, while we've been talking across the U.S. all week since he won the election, what's been happening is you got all these blue governors and blue attorney generals who are saying they're going to fight the Trump agenda every single way that they possibly can. So what they're trying to do is they don't realize that the majority of their own states in a lot of these cases are now against them and they're on the other team and they want a return to normalcy. So what they're going to do is they're going to start trying to fight everything he does, whether it's the border wall, whether it's reducing spending, whatever it is, they're going to do everything in their power to try and stop him. But what they don't realize is that now you don't need the mainstream media anymore. You have all these conservative outlets, you have all of us, you have all these examples of why people aren't listening to the mainstream media anymore, and we're going to know about it. And because we know about it, they can't break through that messaging, and Beyonce's not going to help them.
Amen. And you know what, Jennifer, Rob Schneider, love him. The actor tweeted about the end of relevance for the wealthy elite. I love this. He said, Kamala can have Oprah, Lopez, Clooney, and P. Diddy. I'll take Elon Musk, Robert Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Megyn Kelly, Vivek Ramaswamy, and now Joe Rogan. Will 2024, Jen, do you think go down in history as the year that killed the political celebrity endorsement?
Oh, absolutely, Wendy. In fact, I think this is part of the realignment. We no longer need Hollywood to entertain us. We have streaming platforms. We have our own micro publishing on Twitter. We have our own radio shows where conservative stations are still standing strong. As you mentioned there, Newsmax has its own documentary unit. We no longer need the mainstream media. We no longer need Hollywood to entertain us. And I think that is part of the great realignment. And to Ari's point, all of these attorneys general coming out saying they're going to be tough on Trump, they need to look to the West Coast, where George Gascon, the woke Soros-backed Los Angeles district attorney, actually got thrown out of office, and not just by a little. It was about 35 to 65 to oust him. And he lost his job. And I think that is the great bellwether that California is. They often say, you know, as California goes, so goes the nation. So heads up to the attorney general out there, including Tish James, by the way, who said she's going to continue to go after Trump. Good luck with that, because next time you're on the ballot, the voters will be deciding your fate as well.
It's a great point. And Chris, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk point blank called out Barack Obama for peddling the very fine people hoax while he was campaigning for Kamala. Obama knew it was garbage, Chris. He said it anyway. And Elon took him to task, saying this has got to stop. It's a wrap-up smear. Do you think more Americans are waking up to the con of the propaganda?
I think so. I mean, the mainstream media has about the same credibility as the attorneys and used car salesmen. Look, the media, the mainstream media, I mean, mainstream celebrities, they have no credibility anymore. You look at, no one watches the Grammys, no one watches the Oscars, no one watches any of the award shows anymore. No one goes to the box office to watch their movies. And think how tone deaf it is in this economy where 70% of the people say the country's on the wrong track. You're breaking out people who are millionaires and billionaires who don't have a care in the world, and you're asking them to persuade people to vote for you. Just tone deaf, in my opinion.
100%. Ari, I've got 15 fat seconds for you. I'm the optimist of everything, and you're more measured. Are you feeling good about the next 4 years?
I'm feeling good about the next few years, assuming we get the House. I know we're projected to have the House, but it's still very, very close right now. And what I'm concerned about is if we don't have it, peeling off any Democrats, they're going to vote in a block just because they want to block everything Donald Trump wants to do. So that's my concern for right now. And also, even if we have the House, peeling off a few moderate Republicans who say, well, my district's purple and I'm worried about 2 years from now. Basically, they have 100 days to get done their agenda. That's it.
You know, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.